There's a discussion going on the Haiti Sentinel Facebook page regarding this piece right here that Russia wants to offer support to Haiti but can't, says Moïse Jean-Charles. And it's sparked by, a good brother on the page who basically doubts that Moïse Jean-Charles is telling the truth. Now, the actual reason, I wouldn't really know why he doubts it, but I will say this: a lot of people take the former Senator Moise here for a joke. A lot of people think he's not smart. Um, yeah, and the reason why is because of the way he talks, because he doesn't know French. He speaks Creole and he speaks that Northern Creole, which is kind of fast, kind of broken at times, even more broken than the Creole language. And he's a very excitable character in Haitian politics. Very, very, very full of energy. So some people, you know, they don't like that. They like the smooth talking Michel Martelly, who screws the country over. But while all I've found that Moise has done is try to defend the honor of the country. He was the one that led the senators to stop two mining contracts that the former administration tried to give Clinton's brother to mine our gold. That was Senator Moise who did that. So he's a good brother. Um, but I will say, as for this, does that to the answer the actual question, does Russia actually want to offer support to Haiti? I believe it, and the reason I believe it is because Russia has been trying to offer support to Haiti. In other words, gain influence in Haiti. Never believe for a second that when a foreign country wants to quote unquote support Haiti, that is just because they love Haiti. When you see Taiwan, when you see China, when you see the United States, Canada, any country talking about they want to support Haiti, it's because they have something that they want out from Haiti. And for the United States back in the 1950s, what they wanted was Haiti not to be close to Russia. You understand? Because, and that's why they supported this man right here. That's why the United States supported Duvalier, because he Duvalier was actually somebody completely different. He actually was a journalist before he became president of Haiti. He became president in 1957. John F. Kennedy had died, but when the U.S. started putting pressure on him to step down, yeah, Duvalier, yeah, Kennedy died in 1963. The U.S. wanted Duvalier to step down because your 5 years were up. But they accepted him because he spoke so harshly against communism. Cuba had become, about the Cuban Missile Crisis. Russia allegedly had missiles in Cuba pointed at the U.S. I don't think that was ever proved. Partly because people can't really Castro wasn't really letting people into the country at that time. But nonetheless, yeah. So they let Duvalier's reign all through up until the 80s, until Reagan, under Reagan, 86, and you know how Reagan essentially ended the old Cold War with I think the brother's name was Gorbachev in USSR. Was it Gorbachev? It could have been. But yeah, and that's when the Duvaliers weren't needed anymore because the Cold War against communism ended. So we suffered a 30-year dictatorship where everybody left their farms to come into the city, where we got Coca-Cola factories and other types of sweatshops making baseballs and stuff in Haiti. That's what we did for a time in history where the world was developing technology. We had locomotives before the Duvalier era. We had trains. We had tourism in a big way. All the time when you see the tourism in Haiti from the old days, it's usually before 1950. It wasn't really that serious during the Duvalier era. Don't let anybody fool you. This was not nice. A lot of our brightest minds left the country, were in exile over this man. Don't let them change your mind or rewrite history. And the whole reason for the existence of that regime, of that dictatorship, was because the U.S. feared communist Russian influence in Haiti so much, and they still do. You see there's Red Scare going on in the United States these days. They swear Russia helped Trump get elected. You know, so when Senator Moise says that Russia wants to offer support, I believe it. He says that it's the parliament that doesn't want to vote for the bills and the treaties and whatever type of bilateral partnerships that are being offered. And I believe that as well, because our elections don't depend on votes of the Haitian people, but on who the U.S. Embassy likes. And they used the United Nations, peacekeepers, and other agencies, USAID, to make sure that, you know, the people that they want win the elections. There's a 80-year history of this. So that's what. So I believe that. Now, I do want to talk on the other hand. Now, Senator Moise, he spent the past few weeks in Venezuela. He was meeting with a lot of leftist organizations, you know, from Cuba, from Germany, from Spain, from Mexico, of course, in Venezuela and Colombia. And I don't know, he does have to then declare. I think he has I want to believe, I won't say I think, I say I want to believe that he has a reasonable understanding of how socialist policies could help Haiti, but of course can go wrong, because capitalism is the best model. But I do believe when things are critical, you do have to have certain policies like that. The U.S. isn't fully capitalist. They have certain socialist policies that are inactive, like social safety nets. Haiti has none. They have NGOs. That's the social safety net, and that's not good. So I don't know where the former senator stands on that. As well, he came back and said, I've been looking for it, but I haven't found it. But he came back and said that President Maduro is in support of President Jovenel Moise being kicked out of power. I don't believe it. It's like that exactly, because I believe that Maduro. I've been in a room with him. He seems a very reasonable man. I don't believe he is hypocritical as to say something like that while the U.S. wants him out of power. As well, for Mr. Moise, I don't think he should uh, be talking like that either, because um, we can't accept it from the U.S. making regime or government changes in Haiti. Then we also can't accept it for Venezuela or Russia or whoever doing the same thing. I don't agree with either of those, and I'm not in support of the current administration. I do think it's become too harmful, and President Moise ought to consider strongly resigning. But I'm not for either interference of a country in order to get that done. We all know that under George Bush, they supported Guy Philippe, gave him guns and everything to overthrow Aristide. We all know that under Clinton, they did the same thing in the 90s. We don't need that in Haiti. If we're going to do it, we have to do it ourselves. We have to feel the cost and toll of civil war, civil unrest ourselves. And we must be allowed to do it. We must be allowed to do it. And some people don't like that idea that I share sometimes, but because they're like, oh, but if Haitians are fighting amongst each other, we must intervene. You know, they look at the issue with Rwanda when they were having their issues and how the U.S. intervened, or the United Nations intervened, sent peacekeepers, and the same thing happened in Haiti. Well, first of all, let's start by not putting arms in the hands of one of the sides in order so that they could, have an unfair advantage of slaughtering people. Let's start with that, number one, and then let's let the people decide whether they want to have a civil war or not. Imagine if England, Germany, Spain, France, when they saw that the United States was having a civil war over slavery, intervened to stop the civil war. Would African slaves ever have been freed? Would the black slaves ever have been freed if they had come in, stopped the Civil War, and thought they could, have people sit down and talk? No, it was the war itself that ended slavery. I mean, I really encourage everybody to watch the movie Lincoln by Spielberg. I watch it so many times. It's such a beautiful movie. But it does show that the former U.S. president, the late U.S. president, God rest his soul, Lincoln, had to use the war. In fact, had to prolong the war. Had to even, how could we say, take a surrender. When the Confederates wanted to surrender, came up to Richmond to surrender to the Union, he had to not allow them to surrender, because then without war he couldn't get Congress to pass the 13th Amendment, which made slavery illegal, because they'd be like, well, why pass it if the war is over? So I do think when it comes to that, MJC needs to be really clear. He needs to be very clear, because I love the brother. I do think he needs to refine himself slightly in order to be the kind of president Haiti needs. But overall, he has the best ideas. He wants radical change, and the country needs radical change. He's not like I don't think he has that same. Well, I don't know if he has that same disposition as Aristide, where Aristide divided the country. That was part of Aristide's downfall. He divided the country. So I hope MJC isn't there, and I do think he needs to be very, very clear. But as for Haiti having a relationship with Russia, I think Russia does want to have one. I think we ought to. I think we're in a situation where we have to explore all uh, all offers of support. We have to explore all offers of support and take all offers, but not at the expense of another. It ain't we partner with Russia and then screw the U.S., France, and Canada. Although the U.S., France, and Canada has served us none. I don't think that's smart, but I do think it's smart to get the support. So check it out. YouTube, definitely, man. Go subscribe because that's what's going to help us get to the point where we could have call-ins. Because I actually wanted to have the brother who was having a discussion on the Facebook page. I wanted to have him call in, and then we could have had a quick phone conversation. It could have been recorded, and it would have been a nice little debate. It doesn't have to be me just talking. But so go on YouTube, find Haiti Sentinel. It'll have the Dessalines image just like this as its avatar. Yeah, and subscribe to it because when that grows, then it also helps with revenue and it also helps with us being able to go live from YouTube. Because I will be loading videos up to Facebook still, but I think we're going to start showing a preference more to YouTube because they offer so much more. So YouTube, we got a Patreon. Check out Haiti Sentinel on Patreon because, got to get a studio and panel discussions going. A lot of you in the Facebook page. Yeah, I'm going to definitely ask for some of you to come and express your thoughts on that panel that we will have. And yeah, and everything else. I think I've already explained some of the projects we have going on, and that's about it. So, all right, that's it. Share your thoughts. Comment. I will be reading and responding. All right, bye.